Hi, this is Bill, and it's Tuesday, which means I've got something to think about. In this series, I've been discussing and challenging all of us to think about and pursue character development. And by that, I mean the things about us in the deepest parts of us that make us really us. Today's word has been a difficult one. Not because there's a lack of things to talk about, because there's so much to talk about. In fact, I have broken this word into at least three discussions. The first one, as we're talking about this word, discernment. I'm going to talk briefly about personality versus character. Next week will be right versus wrong. True versus false would be the following week. In discernment and personality versus character, let me say some things about personality. People seem to be born with certain personality traits or tendencies. Some people are shy. Others are outgoing and talkative. Some people tend to be leaders. Others are very analytical in their thinking. A common way to classify your personality or disposition is whether you're an extrovert or an introvert. That is, whether you tend to be outgoing or keep to yourself more. Another personality classification is whether you tend to be task-oriented or you prefer social engagements. People can have a domineering or an influencing or steady or complying personality. Character, on the other hand, is typically learned from our parents, from our teachers, from our friends, from significant others. It's a learning that comes from being taught directly or from the observations we make about other people. And since character is learned, character can also change over time. Character relates to attitudes and values. For example, there is no such thing as a dishonest personality. That comes from our character. Honesty is a positive character trait, and dishonesty is a negative character trait. There may be a tendency toward breaking the law, but that would be if you had a rebellious personality. So whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, your character concerns your attitudes toward doing difficult tasks, dealing with other people, and following the rules of our culture. It's a judgment of the type of person you are. Personality is easy to read, and we're all kind of experts at it. We judge people who are passionate, or energetic, intelligent, engaging, funny, extroverted, energetic, optimistic, confident, but we can also judge the overly serious and judge the lazy or negative or shy. If not on the first meeting, then shortly after that. Those are personality traits. And though we may need more than one interaction to confirm the presence of these traits, by the time we decide they are in fact present, we've usually amassed enough information to justify our conclusions. Character, on the other hand, takes far longer to parse out. Our character includes traits that reveal themselves only in specific, sometimes uncommon circumstances. Character traits like honesty, virtue, kindness, things like being self-aware or displaying empathy and humility, being fair and understanding, respectful, reliable, and trustworthy. Ironically, Research has shown that personality traits are determined largely by heredity and are mostly unchanging. Character traits, on the other hand, are more bendable, malleable. They're soft, they're flexible. We can grow them, we can nurture them. We can discard some and add others. Character traits, as opposed to personality traits, are based on beliefs. For example, if we believe that honesty and treating others well is important or not, though those beliefs can be changed, it's far harder than most realize to change such an ingrained belief out of which flows our character. Our character is deeply ingrained, and it is most often revealed in difficult and challenging times. When we talk about personality versus character, there are some problems. Problem is forming judgments about a person's suitability, for example, for an important role in our life, whether it's an employee or an employer or a friend or a spouse, is that we all have an uncanny predilection for observing attractive personality traits and manufacturing out of them the presence of positive character traits. By that I mean, if someone is outgoing, confident, and fun, we are more likely to think they are honest and moral and kind. But it's far from clear that the one kind tracks into the other. In fact, that assumption often gets us into trouble. Here, raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. I thought so. We unconsciously tend to connect personality to character for two main reasons. We want to like people we already like. But the most reliable way to assess a person's character takes a lot of work, and it's very time-consuming. We actually need to observe people in character-challenging situations in order to make reliable conclusions about their character. For example, if we observe someone can tell a lie easily, we can be reasonably certain from even just one instance that they've done so in the past and will continue to do so in the future, because the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So how do we live? When we talk about character versus personality, that's why I've been talking about character development and not personality development. You've already got your own personality, but we need to change and mold and shape our character from a Christian standpoint to conform to the likeness of Christ. There are really two options. We can be all fluff and no stuff, which means that we are living externally and highly dependent on our personality. Or we can live substantially, making deep inner calls to our character to make decisions about how we will face the situations of the day. And I would implore all of us to make those deep calls to the depth of our character in every situation, so that people will always see the real us in every situation. Philippians 1:9, Paul says, "And this I pray, that your love may overflow still more and more in real knowledge and all discernment." Well, this has been something to think about, and I've given you some meaty pieces to chew on this week. Work on your character development, not your personality development. My name's Bill. I love you. I'm glad we're friends, and I will talk to you next week.